circulatory system.
At 22 days, the tiny heart, no bigger than a poppy seed, begins to beat. Soon the embryo is pumping its own blood through the umbilical cord back to its mother for a fresh supply of oxygen and nutrients. Now just a simple tube, this heart will grow into a 4-chamber structure able to beat 100,000 times a day. In a 70-year lifespan, the human heart will beat 3 billion times, which may explain why yogis like to measure time not in days, but in heartbeats. NBA players count the minutes they play on the court. And on this night, the aerobic limits of the Charlotte Hornets are being put to severe test. They are competing in what will be the longest game in team history, a triple overtime that will force even these top professional athletes to push their bodies to the limits. How do they do it? Charging down the court, they will pump over 30 quarts of blood per minute. In that same minute, even the most excited spectator will move only about 5.
I think you feel your heart beating, you know, especially if it's a pressure game or if you have one of them spells where you're up and down the court a lot. Yeah, you can definitely feel your heart and it feel like it's about to come out of your chest.
I think if I could look inside my body or any one of my peers' body, I just think how hard. And you compare a normal person, you probably see our heart just beating a lot faster.
Heartbeat is controlled by the brain and adjusted to the body's demands. During exercise, when the muscles require extra oxygen, messages are sent to speed up the heart rate accordingly. For the Hornets, these last 30 seconds of triple overtime will tax their hearts and muscles as never before. Their coach summons his exhausted players for final instructions. Final score, Bulls 95, Hornets 102.
It was a long game. I'm feeling a little dehydrated. Feel a little sick to my stomach. My ankles hurt, my feet hurt, my back hurts. This is the agony of victory.
Time I started talking to James.
I'm really impressed by what NBA players do with their bodies. It's just incredible. I think they are the best athletes in the world, without a doubt. How they do it night in, night out is just fascinating. They're running faster, they're jumping higher, because I think we're able to train the human body. It's doing things that we didn't think it was able to do maybe 10, 20 years ago.
Explode one. Good, explode.
How does the human form reach such peaks of performance? We know the bodies of professionals like P.J. Brown are expertly tuned. His muscles, accounting for more than half of his body weight. His bones, many times stronger than a steel bar of the same weight. Together they're trained to move with eloquent precision. But is it more than fitness that sets these top players apart? Scientists and athletes alike suspect that it is the interplay between body and mind that matters most.
I feel that I've been playing this game so long that everything is just a reaction at this point. You know, taking 100 or 500 or 1,000 shots a day, you know, eventually it's just a part of you.
This endless repetition off the court creates much quicker reaction time on the court. It is as if extensive training hardwires the brain.
A professional basketball player
that trains hard in many ways is a genius, in the sense that they can run down the court and dribble at the same time and see all the players at the same time and shoot the ball in ways that people that don't train never could. We're beginning to try to understand the implications of the fact that what you do can influence the structure of your brain, and very specifically, voluntary exercise can actually increase the number of cells in the brain.
When you have a cell, and it's called a neuron, this little thing puts out arms just like a tree branches. And as you watch it under the microscope, it's doing feely touchy everywhere. And it reaches out, as soon as it touches another one, it knows what it's touched. And it's wired itself. And then it begins to stretch through so it can sense the periphery, your fingertips, and your tongue. They all come back through the spinal cord, and they all make their way up here finally to the brain. And the brain is where all these collective properties of putting all this together says, now I can sense the universe. Wow, I don't know what that is. I know that it's these cells that do this. But how does that brain inside the cavity of the head work? Some strange things going on there. So what the frontier, of course, is understanding the brain.
Spell the word man.
M-A-N.
Has.
H-A-S.
Back at the Mayo Clinic, Scott is less than a day away from surgery. To give doctors a better understanding of how his particular brain works, he undergoes a series of basic cognitive and language tests.
Say they raise good potatoes.
They raise good potatoes.
Will you answer the telephone?
Will you answer the telephone?
I ordered a ham sandwich, a glass of milk, and a piece of apple pie.
I ordered a ham sandwich, piece of apple pie, and a glass of milk. Penguin.
This knowledge will enable the surgical team to perceive change, signs of danger, as they talk to Scott throughout the operation.
Snail.
I wish he didn't have to be awake, and he could just put him to sleep and do it and be over with, but yet have the same results. I mean, it's gonna be tough.
I need to be conscious through the whole thing. I'm not sure exactly how it's all gonna go, but that's very intimidating. Wheelchair. Pelican. Dog.
Do you know how many images your eye has seen since you were born?
Saw.
Do you know how many sounds you've heard? How in the world could you have stored all of those sounds and all of those images in French, German, English, or whatever you're storing it in, and be able to retrieve it when I just say the word? If I say Saturn's rings, how are you able, in the length of time it took the sound wave to hit your ear, to retrieve that? It is so astounding when we take a look at it, at how fast the brain works, and how amazing it is.
How and where the brain achieves this complex feat of memory has puzzled scientists for centuries. Science is on the trail of this great mystery, and an unexpected answer comes from an unlikely source.